Hello, my beauties. I am Michelle Orwig, also known as Magical Michelle, your host this week's Magical Monday and the Living Magically podcast. So hold on tight because we have an incredibly wild ride this week. This is one of the biggest filled astrological weeks of the entire year. It's always really, really important to see where a lunar eclipse falls in your own chart. If you happen to be a Virgo or you happen to be a Pisces, it's going to have an extra punch because we start a brand new eclipse cycle that hasn't been done in years, 9 years, I believe, seven or nine, I'm not sure, but I do know it's been a long time coming. And that means if you have placements in these two charts, the next 2 years will be super transformative. And I'm going to even go out on a limb and say in every area of your life, because when we were being eclipsed in Taurus, everything changed for me. But it could be if it's in your ascendant, your moon, or your sun. If any of those signs are Pisces and Taurus, this is going to be the beginning of massive. I usually think of it as an upgrade, but sometimes it feels like you're turning over the apple cart to get there, which means no matter what, everybody is being eclipsed. And that eclipse hits us on Tuesday night. If you're happening to watch this in your Eastern Standard Time, it's going to be between 10 and 11 o'clock that you're going to have this partial lunar eclipse in the Eastern time zone. So that means that even today, Monday, or if you're watching this on Tuesday, it'll be later tonight, you're going to feel it because it's 3 days before. So a Tuesday eclipse, you will have started feeling it on Saturday, maybe even sooner, because you'll feel waves coming as far out as 30 days before. But this potency is in that 1 day before potency, that 24 hours leading up to it has probably the biggest punch, 24 hours before and 24 hours after. Pay attention to what happens in these 48 hours, Monday, Tuesday, and even into Wednesday. And so take a deep breath. and I'm just doing a lot of energetic cleansing because this hits my moon, and most of you know Marissa too, our beautiful Marissa who does all the back end work. Thank you, Marissa. She is a Pisces, and I have a lot of Pisces friends and people with Virgo in their chart. So we started the day out by saging the house today. And so if that feels right for you over this week or even into the weekend, because it is fall energetic cleaning time. And then I follow sage with frankincense incense to reprogram and set intentions into my home to remove negative energy, old, stale, stagnant energy, and to replace it with what I really, truly want it to be, which is peace and calm. At this point, I'm holding my home as the inner sanctuary where the outer world is a little bit crazy and intense. You just have to drive to see how intense people are feeling. So remember, every single person on the planet is feeling this eclipse. So be kind, be extra kind, be kind to yourself. And if you feel a little run down or you feel a little bit emotional, be even kinder and more compassionate to yourself. This is not the time to push and go, go, go. This is the time to energetically ground and energetically center and take really good care of yourself and the people around you and the people that you love. You know, words have power, so this isn't a good time to tear people down with your words. if you want something from someone, it's a great time to ask, but remember, words have power, and ask in a way that is loving and is kind. There is a lot of opportunity for rebirth and growth. First, with this full moon, and then also it is followed just days later over the weekend on the 22nd. It's a little late this year with the fall equinox, which we call Mabon. And if you happen to be watching in the southern hemisphere, it's spring equinox. But for those of us in the northern hemisphere, it closes up high growth season and it comes into the fall. It comes into full harvest and gratitude. For me, this is the real beginning of, I teasingly call it pumpkin season, but it's also, when I say pumpkin season, I mean the veil starts thinning, the air starts changing, the connection to the ancestors and the spirits start closing, closing old windows and new ones start opening. The equinox is a day between time where the sun and the moon have the same amount of time in the sky. So we have the same amount of light and dark. We balance the feminine, we balance the masculine, we balance the beginning and the end of the year, and we start to slow down as it gets darker every day. It is, well, after this Sunday coming up, every day will get a little bit darker and into that winter solstice energy. We are in, as Celtic mythology, we are in that season where we are collecting for the winter. We're storing our energy and we're storing our goods. We're reaping what we've sown in the last 6 months. And it is the time of balance. It's always a really important day of the year. I had my near-death experience on the 20th of September, almost, 14 years ago now. So this is always a really important time for me to look at my death and rebirth. In fact, I am going to light my rebirth candle here while we're talking. I'm just going to do that because right now with this potency, it is time to rebirth again. So even though it feels like an ending, every ending is a new beginning. And therefore, when we have a new beginning, we start fresh. And on the 21st of September, 12 years ago, I became a Theta Healing Master and Certificate of Science. So always the equinox, the fall equinox, is really potent and important to me. So we light this rebirth and we set our intentions. Thank you, Lady Isis, for all that you do for us and for me. It is time to remember that every ending is a new beginning. And I see this too as I started working with the Morrigan this year and understanding that there are 9 faces of the goddess, and that goes through this wheel of the year. The Celtic New Year starts at Samhain, at Halloween. So this is the fall harvest before the Celtic New Year. And as that fire opens up for us, we want to think about what it is we're grateful for. What have we harvested? What have we brought into being? What is it that we have accomplished this year? And what seeds are we gathering to plant for the next cycle? What do we need to hold on to, and what must we let go of? And I always find it a really good time to do a seasonal bonfire anytime between now and Halloween, to do a seasonal bonfire, write out what you're letting go. Full moon is perfect, so it will probably be either the full moon or the equinox, either of these times, literally any day in the next 7 days, is a perfect time to do release work, because as the moon grows full, it will then be partially eclipsed. And then as it gets darker throughout the week and we move toward that new season, which will be Libra season, and it will shift the energy quite dramatically as we get closer and closer to Samhain. And I just want to mention one other thing. On top of everything else, we're having some of the biggest solar flares that have ever reached us, that we've ever clocked. So on top of everything else, we're getting solar function. We're getting the light and the dark coming into this great power. And yet when we have an eclipse, our body starts feeling fatigue and it's shedding an old way of being. The same thing with solar storms. Solar storms will literally create fatigue. So if you've been extra exhausted, don't fight it. Allow yourself to rest, because that's what's being called for here. Rest will recalibrate your cells, will bring in a new energy, will allow you to reset, recalibrate, reboot. And so finding balance, finding the good and the bad, finding the light in the dark in the light, and allowing yourself to shed, like the snake, the old skin. Allow yourself to let go of who you've been, because the next version of you is stepping up and stepping out into the world, into an opportunity. There's opportunity in this. So many powerful things. There's a lot of other transits going on, but this week I would focus mostly on this full moon potency tomorrow and the equinox, which is all about, as I said, balance, masculine, feminine, light and dark, who you're being, and who you have been, and what is the frequency of the version of you that is ready to come forth at this time. It's such a beautiful sweet spot for transformation. Of course, transformation is sometimes a little bit messy. We want everything to be neat and cut and dry, and that's just not how it's going to be this year. This is an interesting year because we have that Chiron retrograde right now, which is the wounded healer. And this eclipse is really meeting us at our soul's purpose and our soul's desire. So if you are starting to have dreams, if you're starting to have intuition, I mean, Pisces is an intuitive sign. We're in the age of Aquarius now. And so there is more psychic development, more intuitive hits, more expansion. And that tends to be a little bit nerve-wracking when you're looking for the tangible. You can't be a control freak, which we're still in Virgo season, and Virgo loves control. Virgo loves to know how to do it and what's the next step. And so in this week where we have this Virgo energy, continue to put in processes, create habits, create systems. That'll help the Virgo energy, but also allow yourself the dream time, allow yourself the meditation, allow yourself the transformation. And also be kind to everyone around you, because everyone is feeling it. That's the key here, is the world is changing, whether we like it or not. We are becoming a different frequency. Each of our bodies are changing. We are not the same kind of humans that we were before. And that's a wonderful thing. And I understand. I've done the Phoenix thing way too many times where you have to burn down the old version of you and reset. And just remember, when you are doing that, you cannot hold on to the old version of you, or the new version cannot emerge. You can't hold on to your shame. You can't hold on to your unworthiness. You can't hold on to that old paradigm. That's what this eclipse is going to do. It's just going to rip it out and give you a fresh new life. We are in a 9-month, so we're still up until the 18th. We're in this completion cycle. We have the next 9/9 on the 18th, so that also is hitting in this portal between the energy that's happening at the full moon and the equinox. So you also have a 9/9 portal this week. So there's a closing, there's an endings. You might see people crossing over. You might see some births happening right now. You're going to see that as a spiritual rebirth and a spiritual death as well, more symbolic as well as actual literal births and deaths. You're going to see a lot of change and transformation in the world and some surprises. So this is going to be, I'm really can't wait till next week when we can look back at this week and say, wow, what a ride. But remember, put that seatbelt on and go forward without as many expectations, but more with peace in your heart, love in your heart, more with hope in your heart, more with getting really clear in your mind's eye of this vision and dreaming. Pisces is so good for creating a vision and creating a dream. And then with this Virgo energy, just taking one step toward it, just putting one little tiny foot in the sand, crossing over that line to this is who I'm going to be. This is what I'm going to claim. This is what I'm going to make happen, allow to happen, transfer into this new part of you. And I can't even get so excited. I mean, I can't share. Let me say that a different way. Cancel clear. I am so excited, and it's hard to even share everything because the numbers add up. So if you want to talk numerology, you're in a 9-month, and here we have the 8th year, and on the 17th, so it's 988, that will be this big energy that we're having for this eclipse. And so that is an energy of upgrade and completion. So there is a real major opportunity for infinite abundance coming through this moon portal. And then you're just days later on the 18th, you're going to have the 9/9 energy of closing down the 9/9 window, that energy of completing maybe a 9-year cycle with these eclipses. And then you come into the 22nd, where we have the equinox, the day of balance. And it's more balancing this year because it is on the 22nd, which is a 22. It's a master number. So you have that energy of the masculine, the feminine, the light, the dark, the polarity of all things in nature are in balance, if only for one day. So a lot going on here. Allow yourself to be gently upgraded and lifted. In the meantime, if there is something that you've been wanting to do, now's the time to do it. If you've been looking at coming to one of our oil temples, we have an eclipse integration temple on the 24th here in Orlando, Florida. It's actually at the Center Street in Altamont. It's a beautiful location. We have Patrick coming to do the sound healing, and we will be bringing the Egyptian oils to integrate all that has been happening. And I have a very special guest coming, our friend Hatem, my favorite tour guide from Egypt, is going to be here for the next 10 days. So if you are interested in asking any questions about next year's trip to Egypt, where you could be in this same portal window of the equinox, but next year, where we are going to be in the pyramids on the equinox, which is also an eclipse. If you want to start talking about that and you'd like to make an appointment to talk to us, this would be a great week to do so, because he's here in Orlando, whether that's a phone call, a video chat, or if you wanted to try and connect with us here in Orlando. So if you're ready to do that trip of a lifetime, now is the time, and the time is now. If you are needing a little bit of coaching and you're ready to upgrade your life to live magically, I do have one very special coaching spot for the next 90 days to change your life before the end of the year. So if you want to do a very special 90-day coaching with me to change your life in this portal energy before 2025 arrives, I've got one of those big coaching spots available right now. And last but not least, if you would like to celebrate our Samhain with us, we are having one of the most special Samhain celebrations, and it is the 26th of October, and it is going to be a Celtic shamanism weekend, and there'll be a Saturday only option, a Sunday only option, or buy the whole weekend and come and play with us. So a lot of fun things happening. I love you. Remember that you are one divine spark of all of this energy, balanced between all of these energies, and that this is a time of love. When you ultimately come down to everything that's going on, when you reconnect to love, everything will be better, because there is no love in fear. Cancel, clear, delete. There is no fear in love. So if you come from a place of love, you cannot be in fear at the same time. If you come from a place of abundance and gratitude, you cannot be in lack. So this is the big lesson right now, is to be in love and above and let fear go. And with all of that, have a magical, beautiful, mystical week, and we'll see you again on the other side. Live magically.